Men use these 7 secret tests to judge women. Have you ever felt like a man was quietly evaluating you, as though he had some secret checklist you couldn't see? Maybe he took longer to reply to your messages, brought up unusual topics, or acted in ways that left you wondering, what's he doing? Is this a test? What if I told you? It probably was. The reality is, many men use subtle tests to assess the women they're interested in. These aren't just games or tricks, they're ways to uncover who you truly are, how you handle challenges, and whether you align with what they're looking for in a partner. The catch? These tests are so discreet, you might not even realize they're happening. But why do men rely on these hidden strategies? What exactly are they looking for? And how can you recognize and pass these tests without losing your authentic self? If you've ever thought, why is he acting so strange? Or am I being tested right now? You probably were. In this video, we'll reveal the 7 secret tests men use to judge women, what they mean, why they matter, and how you can navigate them like a pro. Ready to crack the code and take control of your relationships? Let's dive in. 1. The patience test. Have you ever felt like a man was intentionally testing your limits? He takes forever to reply to a text, arrives late to plans, or seems frustratingly indecisive. You might think, is he just being careless? Or is there more to this behavior? Well, you're not imagining it. Many men use these moments to test a woman's patience. But why patience? Because men know life is full of unexpected challenges, missed flights, bad days, career setbacks, and they want a partner who can weather those storms with them. Think about it, if minor inconveniences, like him running late to dinner, trigger frustration or anger, what does that say about how you might handle bigger issues in the future? Here's where it gets tricky. Men may not even realize they're conducting this test, it could be unconscious. But when they see you respond to delays or mishaps with understanding instead of irritation, it sends a powerful message: you're steady, you're mature, and you're someone they can count on. So, how do you pass this test? Let's say he shows up late to a date. Instead of saying, "Why are you never on time?" try something like, "No worries, I grabbed us an appetizer to get started." This response not only diffuses tension but also shows you're adaptable and considerate. But here's the million-dollar question. Is it fair for men to test a woman's patience in this way? Shouldn't relationships be about mutual respect, rather than hidden evaluations? Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you think patience is a deal breaker or just another challenge to overcome? 2. The attention test. Have you ever been in a conversation with a man where he suddenly shared something surprisingly personal, maybe a story about his childhood, a major setback at work, or a dream he's been pursuing? You might think, why is he telling me this? But make no mistake, this isn't just small talk, it's a test. Men value being understood, and they want to know if you're genuinely interested in what they have to say. They're not just looking for a partner who nods along, they want someone who truly listens. Research from Pew in 2021 revealed that 80% of men prioritize emotional connection and active listening over physical attraction. Yes, you heard that right, emotional connection often ranks higher than looks. But here's the catch, it's not always obvious when you're being tested. He might mention something subtle, like a challenge at work, and then wait to see how you respond. If you brush it off or give a generic reply like, "That's nice," he might think you're not paying attention. On the other hand, if you follow up with thoughtful questions like, "How did that make you feel?" or "What are you planning to do next?" it shows you're invested. The real question is, are these subtle tests reasonable, or do they create unnecessary pressure in relationships? Let's discuss. Do you think men overvalue attention in a partner? Or is it an essential foundation for trust? 3. The independence test. Have you ever been out with a man and noticed him stepping back, letting you take the lead on decisions, like where to eat, what to do, or how to handle an unexpected situation? It might seem like he's being passive, but in reality, he could be testing your independence. Men admire women who can stand on their own 2 feet. But here's the tricky part. It's not about being overly independent to the point where you push them away. Instead, it's about finding a balance. Men want to see if you can handle life's challenges confidently while still being open to partnership. Imagine this, he asks, "Where should we go for dinner?" If you reply, "I don't know, you pick," it might seem like a small moment, but it could make him wonder if you're capable of taking charge when necessary. On the flip side, confidently suggesting a restaurant or even offering 2 or 3 options shows decisiveness, a trait men find incredibly attractive. But this test isn't just about decision-making, it's about self-reliance in all areas of life. Are you someone who can handle challenges, or do you rely on others for every little thing? Studies from the Journal of Marriage and Family show that couples who maintain individual independence within a relationship are more likely to build long-lasting connections. Now, here's the thought-provoking part. Is this test about gauging compatibility, or does it sometimes unfairly pressure women to prove their worth? What do you think? Are men right to value independence so highly, or is it just another expectation placed on women? 4. The social test. Have you ever been out with a man and felt like he was watching how you interact with others, like the waiter, a random stranger, or even his friends? Believe it or not, this isn't just a coincidence. Men often use these moments as a social test to gauge your emotional intelligence and kindness. Why does this matter? Because how you treat others, especially those you have no obligation to, is a direct reflection of your character. For example, imagine you're out at a restaurant, and the server makes a mistake with your order. Do you respond with patience and understanding, or do you snap and make a scene? To him, this moment speaks volumes about how you'd handle conflicts in the relationship. A Harvard study found that emotional intelligence is one of the strongest predictors of long-term relationship success. Men aren't just looking for a partner who's kind to them. They want someone who's empathetic and warm in all aspects of life. But here's where things get interesting. Can one interaction really define someone's character? Is it fair for men to judge a potential partner based on how they treat a stranger or his friends? Let's hear your take. Do you think this test reveals true compatibility, or is it too simplistic? 5. The financial values test. Money, it's a subject that can make or break relationships, and men often pay close attention to how you handle it. But here's the kicker. This isn't about how much you earn or whether you're financially successful. Instead, it's about your attitude toward money, how you save, spend, and plan for the future. Have you ever been in a conversation where a man casually brought up budgeting or long-term goals? It might seem like small talk, but it's actually a subtle way to test your financial values. Men want to know if you're responsible with money because financial habits often reflect deeper traits like discipline, planning, and compatibility. A CNBC report even found that 70% of divorces are linked to money-related conflicts, making this a critical factor for many men. For example, imagine he mentions saving for a future trip or a big purchase. How do you respond? If you say something like, "I never think about saving, I just spend whatever I feel like," it could be a red flag for him. On the flip side, if you share that you're saving for your goals or planning for the future, it shows maturity and alignment with his mindset. But here's the big question. Does this test put unnecessary pressure on women to meet financial expectations? After all, financial habits are often shaped by individual circumstances, not just personality. Is it fair for men to use money as a gauge for compatibility? Or should relationships be more forgiving when it comes to financial differences? Share your thoughts below. Do you think financial values are a deal breaker or just another hurdle to navigate? 6. The trust test. Trust, it's the foundation of any successful relationship, but building it isn't always straightforward. Many men conduct subtle trust tests early on to see if you're someone they can rely on. These tests can be so discreet that you might not even realize they're happening. For instance, he might share a small, personal detail about himself and wait to see how you handle it. Do you keep it to yourself, or do you casually mention it to others? Or maybe he asks a hypothetical question like, "Would you ever go through someone's phone if you thought they were hiding something?" Your response could make or break his perception of your trustworthiness. The stakes are high because once trust is broken, even in minor ways, it can be incredibly difficult to rebuild. Research from the University of Denver shows that lack of trust is one of the top reasons relationships end. Men aren't just testing for honesty, they're also assessing whether you respect their boundaries and vulnerabilities. But let's flip the script. Is it fair for men to create these hypothetical scenarios or bait situations to gauge trust? Shouldn't trust be built naturally, rather than through secret evaluations? And what happens when one partner fails the test? Does that mean the relationship is doomed? These are tough questions, but they're worth exploring. Let us know in the comments, what does trust mean to you, and how do you think it should be tested in a relationship? 7. The compatibility test. Compatibility, it's the ultimate question in any relationship. But how do men figure out if you're truly aligned with their values, goals, and lifestyle? Through subtle yet revealing conversations that test your responses. Imagine this: he casually brings up his thoughts on having kids, moving to a different city, or his long-term career plans. These aren't random topics, they're carefully chosen to see if your visions for the future align. He's not necessarily looking for someone who agrees with everything he says, but he does want to know if your core values match. For example, if he says, "I've always imagined having a big family," and you're hesitant about children. How do you respond? A thoughtful reply like, "I'm open to discussing that when the time feels right," signals that you're willing to explore the topic without making any immediate commitments. On the other hand, dismissive or rigid answers might make him question whether you're a good fit for the long haul. According to a 2022 Harmony study, couples who share core values are twice as likely to stay together. But here's where things get tricky. How do you navigate these conversations without feeling like you're being interrogated? And what if your values don't perfectly align? Does that mean the relationship is destined to fail? The truth is, no one is 100% compatible, and relationships often require compromise. But these tests highlight the importance of communication and honesty. What do you think? Are compatibility tests helpful, or do they create unnecessary pressure early in a relationship? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.